August 23rd, 2 a.m., a mini late night dharma talk. I don't know. It's like 80 degrees out. It's like super hot. It's been like just oppressively hot the past couple of days. I don't know where you guys are, but I'm here in Alabama, and it's been like in the 90s. It's gonna be like 99 for the next 3 days. It's gonna be like 100 in Minnesota, and that's like Minnesota. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god! Like the guy in Troll 2. That's a great movie. Troll 2. It's it's actually a movie about a troll. It's not a movie about internet trolls. But, you know. Anyways, let's get on with it. It's gonna be quick, as quick as I can make it. I tend to pause a lot, and I'm kind of long-winded, but I'm gonna do this one as fast as I can. Once again, this is just, I'm just throwing my ping pong ball in the jar, or throwing my hat in the whatever, or throwing my ring around the carnival thing, whatever. I'm just a guy, and it's the way I see it, and this is my way of looking at things. I'll try not to be offensive, but I can't make any promises. Just remember, if we disagree, we disagree. It's all right. I'm okay. You're okay. We're all right. What I want to talk about is I want to talk about arrows and targets and life, education, study, and what that means to me. First of all, I know we all have opinions about school, and I have a pretty, you know, I have a pretty strong opinion on it. I did it. I did it for a good while. Growing up, even when I was real young, it's just one of those things where I knew, you know what? I understand what this is, and like what it's supposed to be, what people want it to be, and what the agreement that they want it to be. Like, this is what this is. This is school. You go here every day and you learn stuff. That's kind of the general agreement, that the public has on the whole public school system. I wasn't some perfect kid, and I don't really think anybody is. I've never met a perfect person, but over the years, it's been apparent to me, and it's just the more people that I talk to, I've talked to a good bit of people online over the years. Was I going out places and talking to people? No, but shit, I for at least a good 10, maybe 12 years, I would just go online and go on Skype and talk to people, like just random people I would just call up random people and talk to them, and if they wanted to talk again, we'd talk again. I did that for a long time, and you know, it's it helped me to get to know people, in my opinion, and form my opinions on things, and just get different opinions. But that's just one thing, I've read plenty of books, you know. I've been up and down, I've analyzed my kind of mental tracks that go on in your mind, and I've sat and I've learned how to meditate, and it's like that's not it's not easy when you first try. You think it's one thing, and you're just doing this stiff robotic thing, but what it is just be aware, be present, and process process the physical body, the sensory experiences you're feeling, and process the emotional body of kind of playing those tracks of the tape of the mind of the years gone by, and you know thinking about what could be, the things that could come, and the things that couldn't come, and why they're not that way, and what you can do, what you can do to kind of steer your ship to where you want to go. And if you think about the past, if you think about where you are, you can get some idea of what you want to do in the future, and you can try to do your best to do that. But things are dynamic, and shit's always happening. Anyway, where I'm going with this is, you know, there's a point where I dropped out of school, and people are like, "Oh, school, you need that. School, you're not learning anything. Oh my goodness." But really, the more and more I analyze my school career, I didn't really. I learned how to read, and that was everybody should do that. And I learned some math. Math is good, but it's good in a way. But if you just learn just a bunch of math, and it's just that's all you're just hooked on math, that'll get you far. But that's just you know it's there, and nobody can deny it. But there's other there's different types of math too that you know they're not gonna really teach you. Are different ways of learning math, because everything is so standardized here. It becomes kind of rough. But I kind of hit a brick wall with math, and it's like I get it. It's not. It can be helpful, but in a way, I can see where it can be something that people focus on too much. That's just my opinion. It's it's a good thing to know, but there's different ways of knowing it. There's more than one way to skin a cat. But basically, where I'm going with this is you don't have to go to like you don't have to like go to a bunch of schools to get a real education. And there's a whole nother school. There's a school that we all go to, and some of us, you can have a rough time in life or a traumatic experience that really shocks you into knowing this. But there's a kind of internal. It's not even really internal. It's like you're viewing the internal world, and life is study. So you study the natural world, and you study the structures in the natural world. You study the structures of the emotional body, your emotional body. It's You'll have the best time studying your own emotional body. And like, how do you feel about this, and what things evoke what emotion from you. And if you've been around people for a long time, then you can kind of get some understanding of their emotional body. But at the end of the day, it's like you're not really in their head, so you can only have you can only grasp it so far. But as far as you, at the end of the day, you know who you are and you know who you're not. There's a point where you get to that point. But I'll say in life, there can be several targets. And when you study life, when you study your life, study the natural world around you, and the kind of internal goings on emotionally, however you want to put that, that's kind of like, to me, that's more valuable than going to college, you know? In a way, I've known people that have been to college and they've totally dropped out of high school. Because at the end of the day, there is what I would call an invisible college, and that's life, and it's studying the natural world and studying the kind of elements is the best way I can put it, in the elements of the emotional body, the elements of the physical body, the kind of spiritual elements, the just the magnetics of the whole package, whatever that package is, I'm not going to tell you what it is or what it isn't. I know what it is to me, but whatever. But I'll say in life, uh, I'm like 44 now at this point, and I know something. I'm not an expert on anything, but I know something. And looking back on it, I I was educated. I was able to kind of craft a set of arrows, I would say, at the kind of target that I perceive was the target of learning something and acquiring some knowledge. And I'm satisfied within myself at this point in life to say that some of those things they they landed on the target and they hit it. You know, does that mean I'm an expert on the thing? No, but I'm satisfied with the fact that hey, that's probably what the thing is. Well, I guess the real deal with me, as far as my situation, was like when I was a kid or a young adult, even to an extent, I would always kind of play back the kind of tape in my head. And there would always be this kind of nagging thing like, what is some of this stuff? I mean, there were some pretty weird things. Like, I had to question some of the things that were going on. And I feel like I wasn't getting, I really wasn't getting satisfactory answers from a lot of authority figures. And you see stuff and there's a point where hey, there's something wrong with this thing. But you want everyone to be happy. That's the thing. And you can only do that for so long. I mean, if you got something nagging you the best thing to do is try to figure out what the problem is. Don't just kind of put a tape in the tape deck and just drone along like, oh, well, I've got to do this because this is what everybody says I've got to do. Because at the end of the day, it's like you live and you learn, and you've only got like a finite number of arrows to fire at the targets, and whatever those targets are. I'm sure for other people for a lot of people, the main target is like, well, I've got to get like a girl or something, or I've got to get money, or, XYZ thing. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'll say if you're going to do that, try to focus on one thing at a time. Because, like I say, you you've only got a finite amount of arrows, and going back and studying life, studying your situation internally and the external situation, maybe you can come up with a better way to craft an arrow that'll go farther, and maybe it'll hit one of those targets. But the clock is, we've all got an expiration date on our head, so There's only so much you can do with that. But I guess what I'm trying to say is whatever it is, just do your best each day. Try to try to process the situation as a whole, If you have a bad day, you know, think about it, but don't let that compound where it's just like, oh, everything sucks and it's never gonna happen and this, that, whatever. And there are people, things, events, whatever. There are these kind of, it starts to become this thing where it's like playing this tape in your head. And what I would say to you is whatever it is going on and whatever went on, yep, right here, right now is where you are. And I don't care what authority figure or how that person or whatever can be in your life. It could be a spouse or a relative or a boss or whatever. But if they keep like trying to, if they keep superimposing like an idea of who you are to you, you don't have to yell at them or anything, but internally you have the right to kind of take that tape out of the mental tape deck. Because it's your head. At the end of the day, hey, if there's something to it, then hey, you can do something about it. But if there's nothing to it, then you just have to just move on. Because people are gonna think whatever they're gonna think. The main thing is like, know who you are. And that is possible. It gets easier. It gets easier to identify these things the more time you have. Because, you know, you know how things went when you did X thing and then it didn't quite work out. But, if you have someone in your life, and a lot of young people are in these relationships where they have people that are just like totally bullying them. And they feel like, oh, well, I'm obligated to deal with this. And you don't have to. At the end of the day, it's your thing. And if someone's dragging you to a place where you're not functioning the way you want to, and they're just, hey, this is what you are, and this is what you're here for, be it a thing like where they're kind of using you to kind of emotionally binge on stuff. Like, I go to Molly because, you know, I can just dump all my crap on her. Yeah. She'll make it better by holding all of this crap. You can. But are you really helping that person? Sometimes the best course of action is just get away from them. It's rough. It's, you know, it can be the best thing for them and for you. But if it's one of those situations where it's like, I don't know. Yeah, there's lots of just people that just troll you just because they want some kind of reaction from you. My thing is, no matter what tape is playing in the kind of emotional tape deck, it, it, you've always got the right to just tear the damn tape out of the tape. Sometimes, sometimes the best course of action, and this isn't all the time, but with some things, and they can be just, I don't know, just thought forms, you know. Tear them, like I say, tear the tape out of the deck and lift up your middle finger and go, hey, F off, because it wasn't like that. I'm not like that. And the whole thing is just kind of, it's horseshit. I mean, if you know it's horseshit, then you have to move on from it. Because it's not going to change. You can't go back in time. Or if people can hold on to stuff where it's like somebody did something to them for, you know, whatever happened, and it becomes this thing where it's like it's this juggernaut that kind of, it's like, are you operating your stuff, or is it just this thing? And if it's the thing, I mean, analyze it, think about it. If it's the thing, just get rid of it. It ain't easy. But you know what? If you lift up that middle finger enough times, eventually these thought forms just go away, or you can just laugh them off like, oh, there, dear Ronald Reagan, there you go again. Because, we can have some philosophical argument about what it is or where it comes from, but whatever it is, it's in your head, and, you know, you're in command of that until you're not. Just be vigilant about it. It's not easy, but it gets easier in time. As far as the kind of arrows and targets you come across in life, whatever they are, whatever thing you decide to do and decide to set your sights on, you know, I don't know. My thing is now I'm looking at aiming at trying to put together and synthesize some of these thoughts that I have in my head and share it with people and aim at that target of like sharing my opinion and expressing the way I see things. And I don't know if I'll hit that target and some people will get what I'm trying to say. But I'm gonna try for as long as I can, and I really don't know if I don't know if I can, I don't know if I have the energy to aim at any other targets at this point in my life. Girls are nice. Yeah, I would like that, but yeah, a lot of people are just to me they just seem kind of like brainwashed, kind of zombie type drone people, and they're good people at heart, but it's like you know, it's hard to let go of the program, especially when everyone's telling you, "Hey, this is what you do. This is what you do." So but that's that's what I say. You know, I guess in closing, I would just say take the time to really figure out what it is you want and know who you are. At the end of the day, ain't gonna be nobody else telling you who you are. You're operating your thing, so do your thing to the best of your ability and try not to do any harm. That's the best you can do. A lot of people aren't gonna get it unless you just, unless you just drone on and like, you don't. You're not obligated to live up to anyone's expectations. If they're saying something to help you, then it's if you look at your life, then you'll say, hey, this is helpful. But you got to make the call. All I can say is aim well and aim high and try not to drown in all of the kind of awful of the way things are from day to day in this modern world. Because there are people out there that care, and there are sane people. You know, you might find that the people that everyone thinks are the craziest and the weirdest, those might actually be the people that actually have something worthwhile that they can share, or you can share with them. So just keep an eye out. Be vigilant on knowing who you are and who you aren't. And the more life you live, you'll be able to tell what's you and what's just kind of sludge. Anyways, thanks for listening. The intro was from the movie Five Elements Ninja. That's a classic 80s movie. Lots of fun with that. I hope that I was somewhat coherent and I didn't take up too much of your time. And thanks. Thanks to everyone and happy trails.